Hello and welcome to this special Monex podcast with Ambassador Cruise Line. I'm Katie Bragoli, Head of Corporate Sales at Monex Europe, where we help businesses, including those in the travel sector, navigate financial challenges and opportunities. Today, we'll be exploring how Ambassador Cruise Line launched the first new British cruise in over a decade, right in the midst of global disruption, and what it takes to build resilience, manage financial risk, and stay agile in today's changing economy. I'm excited to be joined by Christian Verhounig, CEO of Ambassador Cruise Line. And we're going to discuss the evolving cruise and travel landscape, the impact that FX and the wider macro trends has on the business. And of course, we're joining today at an exciting time in Ambassador's journey, as later this month we have the upcoming launch of the Renaissance ship. Christian, thank you so much for joining me. Can I ask you to give a brief background and introduction to yourself and how you got to where you are now?
Yeah, thank you very much. Basically, I'm in the cruise industry all my life. I started at the young age of 18 being a power waiter on a cruise ship, and I made my way up first through the ranks in the hotel areas on board cruise ships, went into catering and service supplies for cruise ships and ferries. And in 2009, took on my first role as a CEO for a cruise line. And with Ambassador Cruise Line basically launching in 2021, I had the opportunity to build on all the experience which is there, put the amazing team around me, start with a white piece of paper and actually create a product which fits exactly into a niche which we have seen was the right decision and the product that is really appreciated by our guests today.
Now, Christian, I always remember meeting you in early 2022 when the world was full of uncertainty coming out of COVID, particularly in the travel sector. We had just seen the start of the Russia and Ukraine conflict, and there you were, very confident and about to set sail with the first ship. I'd love to know what was going through your mind at that time.
Yes, I do remember 2022, which we were 1 year into actually launching Ambassador Cruise Line already. If I go back in January 21, we saw that there's a gap in the cruise market. Basically, the whole world and the travel industry was shut down because of the pandemic. But we know the cruise industry is a very resilient cruise industry. So therefore, we basically decided to take a leap of trust really into this industry. And in January 21, we purchased our first ship, the Ambience. In the coming 3 months, we put the amazing team together. And actually in June of the same year, we went on sail already for sailings in 22. It was a success story because the proposition which we brought forward with cruising on traditional authentic ships, having basically massive space ratios for the guests on board, having crew and guest ratios which are very high, and offering no-fly cruises from the UK really took off. And by December, we were in a state that our inaugural season was close to be filled already. And before the first guest ever stepped on board an Ambassador ship, we already purchased Ambition, to join the fleet. Then the start in April 22 was, of course, not without its challenges. The pandemic hit the new wave in winter 22. We had the geopolitical development with the war in the Ukraine, which obviously puts a massive pressure on people movement, on supply chain issues. But we managed, and we're here today, and we're very proud of what we have achieved in the first 4 years.
It's been fantastic. I think during that time, how did you feel like to get your whole team to have that shared vision with you that, we should continue with this, the stakeholder management side of it?
Well, for me, it was extremely important to actually put the team together that share the same vision. And what we were able to do is, because when you start with a white piece of paper, it's the most beautiful thing in life, because you can define who I want to be, what my proposition want to be, how does the team needs to be to work together. So we put together people with the right vision, coming from mainly consumer-centric businesses, but with a wide knowledge of the industry to adapt already from day one to a changing landscape in the travel industry. Basically, we saw shifts in distribution. Digital first became very big, something which many established cruise lines could not serve. And so we put a team together to do exactly this and to be, visionaries, and follow the same vision and push it through. And this is what we have succeeded until today.
Sometimes it's always great to be first to move, but learning from other experiences. When I think of like operationally, I mean, you've hit on the big things, the supply chain, the geopolitical aspects. It must have hit a lot of parts of the business. I think operationally, what would you say were like the hardest hurdles when I think back of retrofitting ships or working with partners that were perhaps overly cautious on the sector at that time?
It was, we were hit by news on a daily basis. Let's put it like this: we had the ship in dry dock. We basically outfitted the ship new before she starts. We can come into this, but obviously we put them to the latest environmental and sustainability standards. And you are used to have a supply chain which just works, which you get your parts on the day they're supposed to be here, and this all changed in the world. It went to the extreme that we could not get fuel to actually sail out of a shipyard because there was a shortage of fuel in the Mediterranean seas at this time. So, and as a business, we are very global, meaning that we operate worldwide. We have spares, we have fuel, we have crew payments, which are dollar focused. Fuel, just to give you an idea, makes up nearly 30% of our ship operating expenses. So any fluctuations there is something what is to be managed very carefully. We are visiting ports around the world with different currency requirements. So for us, basically being able to find partners to help us to hedge our positions, to secure our costs is extremely important. And as a new startup, to find the right partner which basically supports you in this, which trusts you that you can actually deliver and do it, was very important. That these partnerships we value. And especially with Monex, we have found a partner which is extremely reliable, where people are on hand instantly, which basically are treating us with the necessary care, and deliver what we require. So we value this partnership extremely, like many other partnerships we have, and this will always go a long way because who has been there from the beginning, will always be treated.
It's very good to hear because it's certainly our aim at Monex, and that's how we want to help with many businesses. It is very much, I think, that long-term partnership and being with you from the very beginning. So clearly we agree with that. I'm pleased that it's been a valuable relationship on both sides. Looking ahead now, I think, over the next, you're clearly going through a bit of a shift at the moment we're sitting here at a very exciting time with Renaissance about to take a maiden voyage with the new setup. But looking ahead, what does sort of the resilience look like, or how do you what you're hoping for in the next 5 years at Ambassador?
Well, resilience in the cruise industry, has been there for many years. And the cruise industry over the past 30 years has been one of the fastest growing travel industries, worldwide. Resilience also means agility. And, if you take where we started and when we started, agility is part of our DNA. So what we have today is we have traditional, authentic, small to mid-size ships, which mean we can react to situations very quickly. We have a highly dedicated professional team in place, which can adapt to situations. And, it just shows what we did already. When the Ukrainian war started, we had to change overnight itineraries. When we did not have fuel in certain ports, we had to adjust itineraries to go there. And what we have achieved is that basically from a white piece of paper, we established a cruise line, which is now operating 3 cruise ships in 2 markets, ex-UK and ex-France. Just in the UK, we have carried more than 180,000 guests already. We are renowned for the warmest welcome at sea. So, we are very resilient already by our own means in a very short time. And we do not see any changes to this going forward.
That's exactly it, isn't it? It's that agility, whether we're talking about what we were talking about before, how you work with us, building that into your hedging, or whether it's just the top level stuff. I think being agile is absolutely key. And I think when I think about agility, I look after a lot of sort of consumer-led businesses, whether that be travel, retail, or other areas. And we've seen a real shift in consumers, in their behaviours. How has that been sort of viewed on your side? We've talked about the shifts that have come in from geopolitical risks, but how have the shifts had to be due to any shifts in consumer-led behaviours?
Well, we see shifts, I would say on a quarterly basis, really, where we have to adapt to. And where it started out that we saw that, first of all, travel is not anymore optional, but it's a necessity for many people. Yeah. So basically, they are looking for a convenient and affordable value holidays. So this is what we provide. No-fly cruising out of the UK obviously gives you exactly this. Yeah, we saw a shift very recently that because of most likely household pressures, guests were looking for slightly shorter durational cruises than previously. Yeah, we now see a very positive shift for us, which is many of our guests are actually looking far ahead to book their holidays. Yeah, we recently launched our 2027-28 season already. Yeah, and we see massive traction there. So basically, it's changing. Yeah, but at the same time, in a very positive way and one we can react to. Yeah, the digital movement to digital is massive. Yeah, in the industry, we see mobile devices being the majority of devices used to actually look at your holidays, book holidays. So, and we are ready for this, which is.
How is that sort of thinking of the innovation and going forward, not just from the booking process, but actually on the ship as well? Have you had to, I know you're in quite a niche sort of market with the demographic, but have there had to be changes to the ships from an innovation perspective?
Well, I will, first of all, as a ship operator, you have three main points, which is safety and security, and which is environmental and sustainable operation. We have from day one on made sure that our ships are joining the top 15% of environmental friendly ships in the world, which means we had to adapt and invest into the vessels and did so. Yeah, to give you an idea, prior start of operation, we basically outfitted all of our ship with selective catalytic reaction systems to reduce the NOx emission. Yeah, we changed our fuel to gas oil, which basically changes your SOx emission. Yeah, we reduce CO2. Yeah, so we see innovation, environmental and sustainability, and business really go hand in hand.
Yeah, I was very aware, sort of going back when we spoke before, the new regulation and how, it could be a real hit to the bottom line to some when they have to spend on things like the scrubbers. A lot sort of went in that way. I think, I'd like to ask if you can we talked before about how important the partnerships are and getting everyone sort of on side in a way that you can work together going forward. But if, apart from Monex, and thank you for that, but any other sort of partnerships that are very valuable to your business going forward?
Well, we basically, see every interaction as a partnership. Yeah, partnerships for us starts, internally with the team ashore. Yeah, it needs to be a working partnership that your team basically feels appreciated, happy, and actually, therefore, outperform really. Yeah, to the crew on board the ship. Yeah, to our guests. Yeah, and then of course to every single external partner we are interacting with. If you comes from a supplier side, if it's our provider of entertainment, which we are asking to do more and better every time. Yeah, because what we do is we listen to our guests very carefully and adapt the product which we are offering. Then further, of course, we are the youngest cruise line in the UK. Yeah, and what we have achieved is only because we have managed to tap into partnerships which give us awareness as well. Yeah, we're working, with cricket clubs around the country. Essex being one of our longest standing partnerships. A very close to heart partnership is the partnership with Orca, where we do have more than 20 sailings a year with ocean conservatists on board to train, teach, and educate our crew and guests about the marine environment, but also to collect important data, which helps then again in their studies and in their global actions to prevent the marine sector.
I'm very aware of the Essex Cricket Club. I've been there and see the branding. It's really good. So I think one thing I would like to know is if you were to go back to 2021, what bit of advice would you give yourself?
I guess never book your holiday too early. What we have achieved is amazing. It was a more and more difficult start than we actually were anticipating. In the end, it was far more rewarding. Basically, putting the team together and getting all the curveballs from all the sides, really tested our resilience, but we managed. We got through this, and I think it was the base for where we are today. That we are a very agile business which can adapt, for any challenges that are coming up. And if we look back today, we are now in the 4th year of operation. We have, as we just talked about, joined already with a French business, which we are bringing in. On the UK side, we have carried more than 180,000 guests. We are renowned in the market for the warmest welcome at sea. We're listening to our guests and therefore exceeding the expectations, with 94% of our guests actually recommending us to friends and family to sail with us. And this, of course, all because we have an absolute amazing team, both shoreside and on board. And without them, it would not have been possible. And I'm very grateful working with such amazing people.
I think you should be very proud, and I'd like to congratulate you on that. Would you like to have a final plug about the exciting TV program that is existing at the moment on Channel 5?
Well, we have teamed up with Channel 5 is another of the partnerships there, and we are showcasing right now live on TV in the UK Fun-Loving Brits at Sea, which is a great success. It's a great opportunity for us to showcase our product. It actually is a massive motivator for the crew, because it's also their stage, kind of, so they really love it. And, it comes at the same time where we are actually starting to operate Renaissance out of the UK as well. Because listening to the guests, we found out that the convenience of no-fly is very important, but that there's a reasonable big part of guests which actually say, I want to go to the Caribbean in the winter. I cannot take so much time to travel across the Atlantic to do this. And we now offer, together with our French partners on board the Renaissance, the Caribbean program, which basically starts by the end of October, goes through until next of March as a first season, with 10 14-day cruises out of Barbados, where again we offer the comfort for the guests, basically teaming up with Virgin Atlantic for the flights, where you go to the airport, you drop your suitcase, you experience Virgin, which we all know is an amazing product. You leave the plane in Barbados, you take your transfer to the ship, your luggage comes automatically to your cabin straight off the plane. You don't need to worry about it, and you're on holiday. So we see that this is going to be a great success, and a next big step for us, offering an alternative holiday as well there.
I wish you lots of success with it. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's always really interesting to hear from you. Thanks, Christian.
Thank you very much.